So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition. So by the title, we're going to be doing another compilation video. We've got some very hot topics tonight. On the docket tonight, we have Tyra Banks returning to the runway as she came out of retirement to participate in this year's 2024 Victoria's Secret fashion show. I felt that this was docket worthy because Tyra Banks is an iconic model in the modeling industry, and I was shocked to see it. But also some of the comments that were made about her size, with her being more plus size, and the dynamic evolution of the modeling industry from where she started, how she looked at models in her younger years versus what we saw of her recently. Next on the docket, YouTuber and rapper DDG hosts a contest to give away free Bbls as a promotional effort for his new song. But then something changed. The reason why this is on the docket is because DDG to me is scrambling to maintain a positive reputation and also playing into a deep insecurity that a lot of women have about their body type. And I think it was a bit, well, flat out dumb for him to endorse paying for a BBL versus other ways that he could have promoted his new song. On top of that, with him being fresh off of a breakup, it's just an interesting optic to go about sponsoring cosmetic work for random women, knowing some of the allegations behind his breakup. And lastly, WNBA star Angel Reese catches fire for saying that her NBA salary doesn't cover her rent. You would think that her or people would try to champion for a pay raise in salary for WNBA players. However, when Angel released this information on her live stream, it did come off a little snooty, and yes, she was joking, but I think it speaks about financial literacy, especially in the Black community. Oftentimes, flex culture is prevalent in celebrity culture, and I think where we're at as an economy, some conversations about money, finances, and salaries should be discussed a lot more. So y'all know what to do. You can label your comment story number 1, 2, or 3. You can comment on one or all. I always try to read all of the comments to the best of my ability, and the stories are pretty good tonight. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So our first story is about Angel Reese paying $8,000 in rent. So WNBA star Angel Reese has been receiving a lot of bad press lately, and it's interesting because this woman was very much championed about a year ago, and her anticipation to go pro had the Black community in a chokehold. I definitely was defending her against the Caitlin Clark storyline because I felt like it was unfair in how she was getting backlash for being a competitor, confident in her sport, and how race definitely played a role in how she was viewed for doing something that a white woman like Caitlin Clark was also doing. Even when her college team, which was the Louisiana State University Tigers, won the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, and Jill Biden, the First Lady of the United States, had the audacity to try to extend an invite to both the winning and losing team, I felt like that was a slap in the face and definitely race related. So I like Angel Reese. I feel like for her to be this tall, 6'3", pretty face of women's basketball, and of course with her being a Black girl, I love it. You know, sometimes as much as I don't envy the fact that I'm not a teenager in this day and age, I'm happy that young girls and teenagers have a lot more representation for a lot of things nowadays that I didn't have. There was no Angel Reese when I was growing up, and with me being 5'10" and always towering over people my whole entire life with the expectation to play basketball, which I never did, maybe if Angel Reese was a huge figure when I was younger, maybe I would have picked up a ball. So I like that she brings femininity but also athleticism and pretty positive accolades to her celebrity. And with being a celebrity, of course, you're going to get not only fame but money. She has really taken advantage of the NIL program that was inaugurated in college sports just a few years ago. And NIL stands for name, image, and likeness, which is a lucrative opportunity for college athletes to make money based off of their name, image, and likeness. And for years, and I mean decades, college athletes were not allowed to do this. Imagine if when Reggie Bush was in college, he was able to accept endorsements, promote products, and get money from jersey sales. Maybe his Heisman would have never been taken away, but he did recently get it back. So it is really good that college athletes who are really popular amongst their sport can earn money from that, because a lot of these colleges and universities and the NCAA organization as a whole has probably made billions of dollars from a lot of these athletes for decades. So Angel Reese being a huge name in women's collegiate sports in recent years has definitely benefited her pockets. So much so that she has endorsements that she got in college, and they still remain, and has even more now that she's a professional playing for the Chicago Sky. I came across a tweet that said Angel Reese got deals with Beats, Reese's, Reebok, Amazon, Pepsi, Sonic, Raising Cane's, Miele, TurboTax, JanSport, PlayStation, and more, and has ownership in a professional soccer team, plus is playing in Unrivaled. And y'all on here talking about $8,000 in rent. Shut y'all broke tail up. So with all of those endorsements, of course, the girl is paid. And recently on a live stream, she kind of jokes that her salary, which is $74,000 a year from the WNBA, doesn't even cover her $8,000 rent. And I don't believe that Angel Reese was trying to say anything negative or or be really boastful, but I see how it could possibly be taken that way just from this clip. Let's check it out.
And keep hating. I love when y'all do that.
What do you say? Hate and pays the bills?
Hate and pays them bills, baby. I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Literally. I'm trying to think of like my rent for where I stay at. Let me do the math real quick.
It might cover that. Yeah, it covers that. It definitely covers that.
What is my... I don't even know my salary. 74? Okay. Times...
Here, I'll do it.
Yeah. I don't even know my salary. Does it? Let me see. You don't even... Yo! I'm living beyond my means. It's like... No, my rent is more than that. It's 8,000. I'm living beyond my means. Like y'all think. Babe, if y'all thought... It's like... Let me stop. I don't even know my salary for WNBA. That WNBA check don't pay a thing. Do that even pay my car note?
Yeah, I think it pays your car note.
Yeah. I ain't doing it the thing. Oh, when is that other hot tea coming out?
But that's sad because that really shows you, like, obviously you're fortunate
to be in a good situation.
Where you have
I know.
other streams of income, but think about how many people don't and have to actually live off that.
I know.
That's really sad.
I wouldn't even be able to get a sandwich if I wanted to.
You literally...
I wouldn't be able to eat. I'll only be able to live.
Yeah. Like, especially in a city like Chicago, New York, like, that's crazy. And you make the same amount of money if you live in New York, California, which are the most expensive states.
I know.
Versus if you live in,
like, imagine
Minnesota.
Like Cam and Ricky and them live.
Yeah, and their tax rate is so much higher.
And I want to live somewhere safe, so.
So crazy.
Crazy. We're going to make more money, though.
We got big things coming.
And keep hating. I love when y'all do that.
So she's basically saying that she's been living beyond her means in a joking way. And I think that was a sarcastic statement. When you have sponsorships such as Pepsi, Beats, and even ownership in another sports team, you can afford $8,000 rent. I think what some people were missing was that she was saying that she's making so much more in other factors that her measly $74,000 salary doesn't cover the rent that she pays. Apparently she lives in downtown Chicago in a 2-bedroom penthouse and she's pretty much put up pretty well. So the critiques about her not having financial literacy, it could possibly be true, but from what we know and see, I don't think she's living beyond her means. Now, I will say if I was Angel Reese, I would have just bought a house because I think that renting doesn't provide the ownership and certain benefits that buying a house could. But even my parents have been pushing me to buy a house and I've been pushing back on them to say when I move down south soon that I'm going to be renting at first because I looked at the market and I don't really think this is the best time to buy. But I'm just a regular girl. I want to buy a house within the next year, so y'all let me know what y'all think of the market right now in terms of buying. Now, I will say people are comparing their regular selves to a millionaire, and that's why some of the critiques and backlash don't make sense. Would I ever think about paying $8,000 in rent if I'm a millionaire? Absolutely not. But people rent for all different types of reasons. I did see someone try to argue that maybe she's renting because it's a possibility that she could get traded, but they're not trading Angel Reese. Like, whether she's hurt or she has conduct concerns, they're not trading their best player. If Patrick Mahomes got hurt or had any issues, do you really think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to trade Patrick Mahomes? They are not. Even with Aaron Rodgers, although he is a mature player, he started the NFL season last year with an injury within the first minutes of the first game, and he's back this year after missing a whole season. They're not going to trade their best player, especially when they put money into them. But I do think the financial literacy conversation, especially in the Black community, does need to be had. For her to jokingly say that she's living beyond her means and release information about what she pays in rent and her salary does kind of come off like a flex, because the average person can't afford to pay $8,000 in rent, let alone an $8,000 mortgage. But she's not the average person, and there's this microscopic lens on her. And I don't really believe that it's just because she's a Black woman. I know oftentimes things are because we're Black and a woman, but I think that Angel Reese is just drawing certain attention to herself that's going to get critiqued regardless of race and gender. You're pretty much a huge celebrity. She might not be an A-lister, but she's definitely like a B-list celebrity. I think she's pretty renowned across the country. Let me know what y'all think on that. But when you're talking about earnings, people are going to take it as flexing, especially when you're laughing about it and saying things like, it doesn't even pay my car note, it doesn't pay my rent, the WNBA doesn't pay my bills, and to keep hating. And she loves when people hate because hating pays her bills, and that she can't even buy a sandwich living off of her WNBA salary. This is where I gotta draw the critique, because I feel like there has to be a little bit more humility. People like to say that a lot of Black women don't get to pop their ish, but I think you can. It's just how you do it. You can't entice people to feed into something negative because it benefits you, because it's just gonna continue on a negative cycle. Have I sat here and told people that regardless if you comment hate comments or tell me you're unsubscribing, the show goes on? Yes, I have. But I had to learn that as quick as God giveth, he can take it away. And that's why people are just cautioning Angel that some of her statements were a little bit insensitive. For her to say that if she was just living off of $74,000 a year, she wouldn't be able to eat, she would have nothing, she wouldn't even be able to get a sandwich. $74,000 a year is not even the average salary across the United States. You are in a very blessed situation. And I don't know if that was her manager or financial advisor or whomever in the background, but she kind of had to jump in and kind of low-key do damage control in the moment to remind Angel that you are very fortunate for what you have. And yes, you've worked hard for it. You deserve your accolades and your riches. But some of those comments didn't sit right with me because honestly, you can live off of $74,000 a year depending on where you live. And you can eat a sandwich off of $74,000 a year depending on where you live. I do think this country, USA, is in a very bad financial state with inflation when it comes to food, rent, gas. We're all struggling. So to hear somebody say that she wouldn't be able to do anything and she would have nothing if she just had her base salary and that salary only, when a lot of people who support her are making away off of that, if not less, it just was not the right thing to say. I don't want Angel to get big-headed just because she has the platform of what she has and where she is. Because the reason why I liked her is because I love when the girls pop it, especially when they do what they do and then remain likable and not play into certain narratives. Nobody likes a boastful person, nobody likes the person who doesn't read the room, and nobody likes a person who is being rewarded for anything but still has to address certain types of negativity. Quote, keep hating pays my bills. It's just not a nice statement to make, and I do critique that. People hating doesn't pay you, Angel. People actually liking you on the court, you popping it, people really effing with you, people actually promoting you in college and liking your presence in college is what is paying you. That's what got you to the pros. So remember that. Overall, she's just a very young person. Like, okay, she's like 5 years younger than me, but just within that age gap, she's young and she's learning. And if I had that type of money at her age, God only knows the type of things I would say or do. I've always been very wary of my reputation and like my likability because that usually is what sells. And I think that some of her statements is what got her called out. Is she living beyond her means? Definitely not. Is paying $8,000 in rent a bit absurd? Yes, but to the average person, especially in this type of economy. But obviously she can afford it. I know some of the comments are gonna say that we shouldn't be pocket watching or counting people's money, but she let us know the figures. She's the one that told us information that we didn't just know by looking it up online. So when you share information, you invite investigation. It's so simple. When you share information, you invite investigation. Sharing information is an invitation to investigation. People are gonna have opinions, question stuff, look things up. It's just human nature. We should not know how much her rent is. That was her flexing, and it was unnecessary information that we didn't need to know. I think Angel should draw back a little bit on certain things she's doing on social media because right now the press that she's getting at this time really isn't the best, and now is the time in a person's celebrity where some people just jump ship, and you never want to give anyone the reason to do that. I don't think she owes us an apology for her comments. I just think that some things are better left unsaid. So moving on to our next story, rapper and YouTuber DDG announced that he is sponsoring 2 lucky ladies to receive a BBL that he will pay for as a promotion for one of his upcoming records, with his plight being that he wants them to feel confident as he pairs up with a California-based surgeon. So according to the Shade Room, it says DDG partners with Beverly Hills surgeon to purchase 2 fans a non-surgical BBL. Hashtag DDG wants to boost the confidence of 2 of his fans by purchasing 2 non-surgical BBLs. On Instagram, he explains that a Beverly Hills surgeon would use filler to sculpt the booty and make it look perfect. So I think it goes without saying that thinking that a BBL is going to give someone the thought or just the essence of being perfect is overall a problem. But I've talked about this topic several times on my channel that I'm not even going to dive that deep into that. It goes without saying that if you have to go under the knife to fix or change anything about you that isn't health related, you have an insecurity that needs to be worked out. I don't think there's any amount of surgery that can fix deep rooted issues. It can only fix surface level things. And I'm just going to always advocate for women to explore so many different options before they sit on anybody's table, whether it's non-surgical or surgical, whether it's invasive or non-invasive. So when DDG posted this to his page, he put the following caption: "In honor of my new song, What You Bad For, I want to help women look and feel amazing. As a result, I've decided to partner with Dr. Dorfman at the Done by Dorfman Clinic in Beverly Hills to buy 2 lucky fans a non-surgical Brazilian butt lift. This procedure uses filler to sculpt the booty and make it look perfect. Asking all my female supporters from around the world to post a video explaining why they feel they should win the BBL using the hashtag DDGXDBD and tag @DDG and @Dr. Dorfman, and we will announce the winner in 2 weeks and bring them to LA to get the procedure done. Plain and simple, who's ready? Disclaimer, patient must undergo a consultation and be deemed an appropriate medical candidate for this procedure by Dr. Dorfman. And I feel like it's just so unnecessary. Like, if you want to give away money, great. If you want to give away BBLs, that's your business. But what type of message is that sending to millions of people that watch you, which are usually a younger audience? I would say the majority are under the age of 25, and a lot of them are teenage girls. DDG is smart enough to understand the risk of not only how women view themselves in this social media 2024 era, but just the risk of surgery altogether. I get it. We can be technical and say it's a non-surgical BBL. So essentially, you're just getting filler injected into your body. But there's still a risk with that. He has so many other ways that he could have promoted his record by giving away scholarships, or since he's a rapper and wants to be known as that, doing an open verse challenge for other talented artists to enter the contest and be featured and promoted. Or since he's a young dad and he has a son and he's very adamant about talking about fatherhood, why not take two young fathers who may have some type of trouble, whether it's custody or being able to afford childcare, and help them out? See, everybody wants to be painted as this good philanthropist that operates on doing something for their fandom, but a lot of times, do y'all notice how it comes with something that also pushes a negative agenda? People are free to get cosmetic work, and it's very normalized that it's not even taboo at this point. But we'll see rappers talk about spending thousands of dollars in the strip club or sponsoring all of their entourage with brand new jewelry and chains, and then every now and then we get the good deed that, yeah, maybe it's a tax write-off, I'm not really mad if it is, but it's few and far between. And then when you look at how him and Halle have recently said that they're no longer together, it's just embarrassing. Halle doesn't even have a BBL. So imagine your baby daddy paying for two other women's BBLs for the sake of a music video. It's just embarrassing. I don't get DDG, and in the last video I did about him, I told y'all that I remember watching his channel when he first started, and one of the first videos I watched on his channel was his high school valedictorian speech. This man was the valedictorian of his high school, so it's not like he's a dumb person. I don't think he's just some hood dumb dude, but he chose to place parlays into betting on the stereotypical aspects of his celebrity. I can't hate on the fact that he's a YouTuber who wanted to start doing music, because I'm a YouTuber who started doing music. But I do see why people even told me, like, you're a good rapper or I like your music, but some of the stuff doesn't really measure up to the personality that you have on YouTube. I think that's a fair thing to say about me. And I feel the same about DDG. It makes a little bit more sense because his YouTube channel is based off of virality and clout and exploitation and honestly women. So it is what it is. But then I saw another statement on the Jasmine brand that said that DDG cancels his giveaway and decides to do a scholarship instead. And I do get it, just like with the Angel Reese situation, you can't tell anybody how or where to spend their money, but I am proud of the general public for kind of holding celebrities to maintain some level of decency with how they present themselves and their ideas, especially when it's dealing about money and wealth. Because if we let celebrities say and do anything that could be detrimental to the general public, then what we're doing is co-signing things that are going to hurt us more than it's going to even hurt them. Whether that's how we view ourselves, pay gaps, wealth gaps, certain norms, social and physical expectations, all of that. I'm glad he changed it to a scholarship. Let's see if he maintains that. And I do think the backlash that he got was well deserved. People are tired of a certain imagery being normalized, and especially within the Black community, feeling like the charity that we receive is always based on things that we don't really need or that hurt us. And I can get political with that, but I'll just say, instead of giving us BBLs, give us business grants. Instead of giving us jewelry and chains and watches, give us resources that we actually need that's going to elevate people. You don't have an obligation to, but if you're a so-called good person that wants to give back and do something nice, consider all of that in your effort. So my third and final story is talking about this year's Victoria's Secret fashion show. Victoria's Secret finally had their annual show after a 5-year hiatus. They haven't had a show since 2018, and it was for many different reasons. First, they had low ratings. People felt like it was outdated, and we saw the change and shift of what Victoria's Secret and Pink or Love Pink was like back in like the 90s, early 2000s, and even mid 2000s. But by the time 2018 rolled around, things became a little less appealing to their audiences. I remember going to Love Pink as a teenager and just how colorful the store was, and the yoga pants with the pink on the back with the different glitter designs, and just how fun it was to be a girly girl in that era through their brand. Even Victoria's Secret sold a little bit better quality stuff in terms of their bras back then versus now. And again, with inflation, we can't even afford a lot of this stuff as much as we used to. And another critique as to why they stopped their show was because they received a lot of criticism about their lack of diversity and inclusion. So there was a lot of hype behind this year's show when they announced they were coming back, and I feel like they did do a good job. I love the way that the stage was set up, where people were like going down into the stage and coming up on the stage. That was really cool as a transition, and it wasn't giving like a typical tiny runway. It was big. It was more like a stage, which allowed for more models to walk the stage at once, and different performers had the space to do their thing. The show opened up with Gigi Hadid, who is a staple model in the industry, and I did see a push for size diversity, and it did appeal to me overall. Now, before I even get to Tyra, I want to point out something. Y'all know I have my own modeling agency, and I've been on hiatus since like the beginning of this year for a lot of reasons. And to be honest, I might need some of my subscribers who are in business and marketing to be like my business intelligence team or business insight group, because there are so many things that I have as ideas or just want to get feedback on, and I need y'all. Like, I need those people. Literally, we can meet on Zoom. And I also want this for my music as well. So if there's anybody out there that's interested in being a part of that group and just checking in with me about certain business ideas, music ideas, please send me an email. Like, please, I really need y'all. But I have a modeling agency, and the reason why I started it is because I feel like growing up when I was into modeling, I was always like the token, the one acceptable black girl, the one that, yes, I was tall and very thin as a kid, but I was still considered plus size because I've always been a little bit curvy. I think I was like 5'9" by the time I was 12. So I started my agency with no height requirements, no weight requirements, no nothing. I just wanted it to be for women of color and primarily black women, because especially in an inner city environment, you don't get that many opportunities to even do anything, whether it's paid work or just experience work. And my business was active from 2021 up until the beginning of this year, but I plan on moving, and I think people probably can guess where I'm moving to. I'm just not gonna say it, but I just feel like I'll have a lot more success where I'm going. So because of that, it's imperative to me to be a group of women who are not only talented, but we are breaking the idea of a stereotypical model. Not every model is 6 foot tall, a size 4 or a size 2, no curves, and a high fashion runway model. There are so many different types of models: food models, glamour models, fitness modeling, pageant models, plus size models, erotic models, editorial, print, swimwear. There are so many genres. So I hate when people say that somebody can't be a model because they're not that traditional stereotypical model look. And I think it's good to promote the tall girls with the long limbs and the thin bodies, because the biggest tier of modeling in the industry is meant for them. But understand that different types of models exist as well. And I really tried to incorporate all of that with very minimal resources. And I'm happy with the work that I've done, but I'm excited to move on to an area better suited for the talent that I'm looking for. And I think this Victoria's Secret fashion show this year showed why there is a need for models who don't necessarily fit the traditional mold. So to see Tyra, who is now 50 years old, she's a mother, and she came out on stage, it really did shock me, but in a good way. Tyra Banks returned to modeling after 20 years of not doing any more modeling and was definitely more full-sized. Now, if you remember on the America's Next Top Model show, Tyra Banks oftentimes criticized models who were probably like a size 6 and up for their weight and said that they're going to be labeled as plus-size models.
As well as focusing contestants that lose weight, they also shame contestants who gain weight over the course of the cycle. Kenya of Cycle 4 is said to have gained weight over the filming, something that she points out herself. It's repeatedly noted by the judges, and it seems like they pick her role in photo shoots to exasperate the storyline. For the 7 Deadly Sins shoot, she's assigned gluttony and is made to pose in a coffin full of donuts and bacon. In a later shoot, each girl dresses as an animal, and Kenya is styled as an elephant.
So I picked an animal that I think represents each and all of you. Kenya, you get to be the elephant.
Other girls are styled as a deer, a cheetah, a zebra, a giraffe, all lithe, lean, graceful animals that completely contrast Kenya's assignment. And at panel, she's criticized for having her stomach out.
This photo is really beautiful, Kenya, but I hate to say it, they had to do a lot of body work on you and retouching. At home, pretty much I try to, eat right. And we come here, my metabolism, everything is thrown off.
Stop! If you're sporting a gut, then you turn to the side and disguise it.
And I get it. It was the early 2000s, so that mindset and that rhetoric is definitely outdated. So when I saw comments speaking about Tyra's weight in this show and how she's more full-figured, I get why people were saying that, but I do think that times have changed. And I'm led to believe that Tyra also understands why her comments 20 plus years ago were insensitive or just wouldn't fly with today's standards. And I like the shift. I like the shift in diversity that's happening in the modeling industry. I feel like the stereotypical, standard, traditional model can exist and be praised, but I like that other women are allowed to look like themselves and be models as well, especially with the amount of genres that are available. When I tell y'all, people can come for me all they want, but when I posted my models in the beginning, like 2021, I did get a lot of backlash. And people didn't realize that they were really hurting the feelings of so many girls on my team who were doing something for the very first time and just trying. But I think the Black community does have a very skewed viewpoint on beauty standards. And I think overall, people do, especially millennials, Gen Z, and transitioning into Gen Alpha. But when we speak about the Black community, we police and critique a little harder on how women should look. People talked about my girls who had tattoos, tattoos, the girls who were more voluptuous, the girls that had more of a sex appeal in their look, and equated the whole team to video girls, when in reality, doing music videos is also still a type or genre of modeling. But on the runway for this Victoria's Secret fashion show this year, I saw models with tattoos, I saw more full-figure models, I saw shorter models, taller models, and I think Tyra Banks and Victoria's Secret understand that they had to get with the times. It's a good feeling that women can exist a little bit more as individuals and in conversations, and I don't think we've reached the best point of where we need to be, but we also see how the BBL era is transitioning out of fashion, and people are going for a more natural body versus being super voluptuous or done up in all areas. I think there's room for all different types of women though, even the girls with BBLs. I really can't wait to move down south and get my business running where I'm going to be around a whole bunch of women of color, of different shapes, heights, and sizes, and really take off with that, because I do think diversity and inclusion, especially in the world today, is very trendy right now, as it should be. I'll be real, I still think I have a standard for my business of what I want the girls to look like, and I have the right to have that, and so does Victoria's Secret. But it was good to see Tyra Banks at the age of 50 still looking good, of course being full figured and looking confident. Now I will say, Tyra, that walk. You would have cut a girl just for having that walk years ago. And I even tell my models, don't be swinging your arms like that, keep it controlled. But I think it was more about Tyra Banks being a part of the show and the iconic Victoria's Secret fashion show resurging in 2024 with new branding and new views, and women all over being able to see that. The last thing I want to say is the opening performance of the show by K-pop superstar Lisa. This was iconic to me. People used to also comment on my models and say, why do my models look like cheerleaders? Or models don't dance and models won't be taken seriously for that. But models do need to have some type of rhythm or know how to move their body and incorporate dance or moving gestures in their walking and performance. So when I saw that choreography, when I tell you I gagged, because that exact type of routine is one of the elements I want to carry in my business, and I have been trying to do that for a while, and people just never understood like why. But it's because it works. Even on one of the biggest stages for fashion modeling in the world, which is the Victoria's Secret fashion show, they had choreographed runway walks on that stage, and it was so justifying to me that the work that I've been doing and trying to bring in my agency and make more popular would work in high fashion. I remember comments, people would tell me that my models will never be taken seriously because of what they wear, or the fact that they have this performance aspect, which is just a side team amongst my whole entire agency. But we just saw it on stage. We can argue that the women were dancers, but they literally had runway choreography. And I want to shout out to Devonna Booker. She is the Black woman who choreographed their runway routine. I started following her months ago because I felt like she does exactly what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do. And if y'all don't do anything, please go follow and support this girl. Like, please. Like, I'll even pin her Instagram link down below. She is so talented. She's teaching kids, women, men how to do these runway walks that are more inspired choreography. And I want to shout out to the HBCU modeling teams because they often incorporate a lot more urban, majorette, dancer type of expression in their runway modeling. And there's a genre for that, okay? There's a genre for that. So to all the naysayers who ever said that it's not high fashion enough or it's not really modeling, to me, it's not necessarily anti-Black to say that, but remember, it stems from Black creativity and we're seeing it on the biggest stage. So never let anyone tell you what you believe in or what you're doing won't work and won't be respected. So Diva Devonna, who is the runway icon, she was behind that aspect of the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And I don't even know this girl, but I've been following her, and when I saw the choreography, I just knew it was hers, okay? I just knew. I've been following you because there's not too many people doing that mainstream. She was interviewed by Essence magazine, and I love the fact that she got her moment. She stated in the article, "This is definitely a full circle moment because I always wanted to walk in the Victoria's Secret show one day. But because the industry has so many standards, you have to be blonde, blue-eyed, 5'9" or taller. That kind of sent me back, and I didn't know if I would ever be there." Devonna, who was 5'6", tells Essence, "But now I've been doing amazing with my modeling school, which has allowed me to have my choreography in the show with Sean Bankhead and Lisa. It's like a triple threat." Before being selected by the renowned choreographer for the gig, Devonna first made her name as a child, going viral on YouTube and other early social media platforms for walking like a seasoned diva. The footage landed her on the Tyra show, caused Naomi Campbell to dub her the Supermodels Mini-Me, and more. Devonna went on to compete in the runway category with the ballroom community, becoming the scene's youngest legend and later the youngest icon. All the while, she's been traveling around the world and building her own business, Diva Devonna School of Modeling and Etiquette, headquartered in Newark, New Jersey. Now, with the much lauded Victoria's Secret fashion show, and the global star Lisa, she's at the center of the internet's attention yet again. I'll also link the article, definitely check her out, but it just felt good to see a lot more diversity and inclusion on that runway, to see a Black woman get her shine, and to see her work be platformed to millions of viewers, and to finally see a breakthrough in an industry that historically has been one-dimensional and very toxic. I can't wait to relaunch my business. It probably won't be for like another year, but sometimes y'all say that I motivate y'all, but all of this really motivated me to keep going because I have been doubting myself for such a very long time. So I'm just gonna lock in and work harder and build a better business while I appreciate this breakthrough in the modeling industry that has finally come. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If y'all haven't already, make sure you guys follow me on my vlog channel. I'm really working on the vlog of the Nigerian wedding. It's gonna take me a little bit, like I said, a lot of footage, but definitely check out the videos I have on there. Also, don't forget to follow Diva Devana Runway. I really like her content. I think that if you're in Newark or anywhere in New Jersey, check her out, and she travels. So if you're a model and you're looking for extra work, I want to support and promote this Black woman. And as always, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
To my pal, mademoiselle, l'amour est du caramel. You got mama spinning like a carousel. Can you tell? Ooh, you so professional, smooth like a criminal. Passenger princess, always treat me like Cinderella. Yeah, call me Bella, say I look Stella. Tu me fais bêta, ils sont jealous. Des mon père from my left side. J'ai regardé, je ne vois pas no other man. Number one, Papa, you know you're my only one. 2 times 2, buy me everything under the sun. Toi, c'est moi, bisous on my body, love that. Yeah, we had tough times, can we rise above that? Your smile's my weakness, your body give me releases. It do my day be increasing, it then you bless me like sneezes. I could write a whole thesis when I give you these reasons. Count on, 2, 3, come on baby, come on. And when you put it on me, he said he like me, he don't have a chance. Gonna give it to him like I like a this, I like a that, I like a this, I like a that. Bad joints to the front.